Power circle mentality.
All right, family. We live? All right, man. PCM Power Circle Mentality, episode 5. Happy to be back again with my guys, my brothers, man. So, this is a good episode. We're going to be talking about why you should prioritize your own growth, why you need to focus on your own self development. What y'all think about that?
It's the way of life.
I agree.
You don't want to have to be out here just going or running around like a chicken with their head cut off.
Absolutely.
I feel like if you have a daily routine that you can be able to manage and keep up with, then I feel like then at that point you would be aiming for success. Your own success. You know, we all have our own definition of like success. So
100%.
Absolutely.
Like you said, if you just out here and you don't have no type of structure to your life or no type of routine, I feel like at that point, when something happened to you that you wasn't expecting, like that could really steer your life in a way that, of course, you weren't expecting because you weren't prepared for it. Or you don't know what your norm is every single day. So definitely giving your life structure, focusing on a goal, you know, doing certain things each and every day. I feel like that's definitely key.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that like Bruce was saying and Vincent was saying, you gotta have like some type of structure in your life. And I made a video about that on Instagram, but like implementing systems in your life and habits. Your habits really do define your character. And Keon, shout out K, he was telling us about like how the choices he made 5 years ago are affecting him right now. And that got me thinking, it's the truth. Like I'm gonna be 25 soon. When I'm 30, the choices I make now and leading up to that are gonna affect me when I'm 30. So you really have to look at your life like a long game, and you have to set up certain things in place to help you reach your goals. So you have to be doing things every single day consistently to help you reach your goals. And consistency really is the name of the game. You have to stay consistent.
Absolutely. Whether that's meeting new people every day, going to the gym every day, reading a
Networking.
book, whatever the case may be. Like I say, as long as you know it's going to benefit you in the long run.
Right.
I feel like that's what all that matters. Like, so just say you go to a grocery store or something. Just for example, we all go to a grocery store. I'm making a commonplace.
Right.
But just say we go to a grocery store and we end up seeing somebody that's like, man, that person like they successful. They got the whole like, man, you know they got the whole fit on. So you end up talking to them. Next thing you know, that person, an old real estate agent.
Networking.
Exactly, networking.
Yeah, you should always, yeah, man. I was just saying, you should be networking, always should be growing. Like, even if you do go to the gym or you do go to a grocery store, you should be like, just success always attracts success. So if you see someone that's looking presentable, carrying themselves in a nice way, don't have too much pride or arrogance. Say, hey, what's up, man? Like, what you do? I'm pretty sure people will always tell you. You know what I'm saying? People always tell you what they do, and you should always be growing, learning. Like even with me, like I'm about to graduate college, but I'm not about to tell myself I'm done learning. Like you always got to keep learning. Always find something next that you learning towards to do.
Absolutely.
And also, going off of that as well, don't prioritize your growth on what someone else has had as well.
Exactly.
Because like I said,
Exactly.
just because you see that person wearing designer or having, you know, nice watches on, whatever the case may be, you may never know that person's financial situation.
Yeah.
That person could be in debt, right?
Yeah.
His priorities may be all messed up. Like, I just want to look good, but as long as I look good, I don't care about my pockets, none of that. Never know. So it's just like, you pretty much got to go off of what you think is best for yourself on how can you become the best person in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20. Like every day when I wake up, this is just something I do.
Right.
I always ask myself, where do I see myself 5 years from now? 10 years from now, 15 years from now. Even though I already know,
Right.
but still got to ask myself that just so that way I can keep focused. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you look at them daily too.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that as a man, well, as a person, period, not just as a man, but as a person, if you striving for something, you need to know where you're going. And like, if you set daily goals, those daily goals will steer you towards the direction that you're supposed to go in, right? So like, if you're a basketball player or something, you know you're supposed to practice every day. So you practicing every day is getting you closer to that goal of going pro. You know, and it's just like anything else. So you just have to set up stuff in your life that's going to get you consistently closer to whatever goal you have every day. And like Vincent made a good point, success is different for everyone. So for us, it may be, multi-million dollars. For somebody else, it may just be having a home. For another person, it may just be having a marriage. Success is based off of what you view as successful. But the point still stands for everybody. You need to have systems and habits set up every single day that you're doing every single day to help you get to those said goals and what you view as successful.
And I think a good thing too is like breaking up those goals in a way to where, let's say a few months from now, you look back and you feel like you made progress towards the goal. Because like the thing I found myself dealing with, like with others and things like that, when they set a goal, they might be committed to it for a few months, but they're not seeing results how they want. And it's like, for example, let's say if you wanted to lose 50 pounds and you start going to the gym every day, and let's say you 5 months in, you might have lost like 20 pounds, but you haven't hit that yet. If you break things up in a certain way to where like you almost trick your mind that we're still accomplishing this goal and we're still on track. It may take a little longer than I originally planned or thought. I feel like it almost like gives your brain that exciting feeling like we're on the right track, and I want to keep staying dopamine. You want to stay consistent with it. So just laying it out in a way where it's like, I achieved this goal, I achieved this goal. If it's 50 pounds, 10 pounds a month or whatever, like just breaking it up so it makes sense in your head and making sure that you don't fall off track with that.
Mm-hmm. Good point, especially when it comes to the gym. Especially because me personally, I'm in the gym every day except on weekends, and it's just like by now, I thought I was gonna be like, but it's just like, man. But going back from what I was from a couple months ago to now, it's just like, okay,
You did.
like I see. I'm looking at the pictures. I'm like, all right, I look good.
Yeah, that's a good point that Vince made. I think, and you could like apply that to anything. I feel like when you like so caught up in doing something, you really don't see the result until you step back, and then you're like, damn, I have really improved. Like Vince said, you look at the pictures and you like look at your body, and that could be applied to anything. But it's like it's delayed gratification. These things aren't going to happen overnight. I mean, there's some stuff that you're going to set up this year that you might not see the fruits of until 5 years down the road. I mean, those are the sacrifices that successful people have to make. But like Vincent said, he asks himself every single day, where is he going to be 10, 15 years from now? And successful people, they play that long game. You should still live for today. I'm not saying that. You might not make it 15 years from now. But you still want to plan in case you do.
Yeah, you just want to stay consistent too. And like, it's okay to enjoy the journey as well, because we only got one life.
Absolutely.
Like, no point of like always thinking about like the future, think about like the money. Just enjoy right now, and like just be thankful for like the stuff that you have right now, and just being consistent like every day. Like it don't matter like what your body tells you or how you feel. Like if you want to learn how to do something like with basketball, like it's about reps. And also, I noticed that it's with everything. Like even with me learning trading, even with me in school, even with me trying to become successful, like it's your reps every day.
Yeah.
Like how many are you getting in to be successful to the point that you want to be?
Absolutely. No, that's a good point, man. Like you said, it's about, and that's like in anything. Obviously there's different things you have to do to become successful in different fields. But I think the foundation of becoming successful is like the same for anything. Like you said, it's your reps.
Yeah.
And it's about your mindset. Most people, you have like a freak of nature who are like just automatically talented in certain things. And everybody has a talent. But for most people, when you first start something, you're not gonna know what you're doing. You're gonna probably look stupid. You're gonna probably be embarrassed. The people that are successful are people that stick through that and stay in that, and they embrace that feeling, and they don't let it bother them because they know in a couple months they're gonna be good at it. So that is something I think that, like Romero says, you have to understand, and you have to be easy on yourself, and understand that everything's not gonna come easy, and some things are harder for some people to learn than others. But that doesn't mean that you can't be successful in a certain field. So I think that is a good point, bro.
Absolutely, it is hard. I'll be honest with you, it's hard.
Life ain't easy.
It's hard. It ain't easy. There's times where I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, man, I thought I'd be here by now.
Right. Yeah.
Man, like I'm doing this, I'm doing that, investing into this, meeting these many people, making this much a year. It's just like, man, I'm out there. So I was just like, man, I'm sometimes you gotta sit back and it's like, all right, but look, 5 years ago you
Right,
were
you was here.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's why you gotta like just
That's
be
true.
grateful, like showing
Exactly.
gratitude to the
Yeah.
overall journey. Like
Yeah.
that's the key, because it's like once you give yourself that pat on the back and say like, hey, I'm way further than I was at this point. I feel like that also releases more dopamine to your head, and then you want to stay on track even more.
Mhm.
So that's definitely
No, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think when you're so caught up in it, bro, like when you just in grind mode and you're working, you don't realize how much progress you've made until you take a step back. And you know what I'm saying? And then you look on your past, whether it's like your money or your body or whatever. But like when you're in the thick of it and you're doing it, you not really realize how much progress you're making.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like Vince said, it could be like you made a lot of progress and you've done so much, but you still ain't at the goal that you set. And you're like, damn. But then you look back and you're like, I did that, I beat that. So you have to be easy on yourself. You have to be realistic and honest with yourself as well. But you also have to be, like, a little easy on yourself, like I said, and give yourself time, have patience with yourself. And like Romero said, enjoy the journey. Because when you do reach said goal, it's going to feel good, but I feel like on the way there, all the things that happen feel better. And like when you reach that L goal, it's a little anticlimactic. It feels good, but it wears off quick. Like I feel like if you're trying to make $1 million, the journey getting to the $1 million is much more enjoyable than actually receiving $1 million. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're gonna be happy when you get it, but it's like,
Yeah, you're like, man, remember I had to do
like
this?
right, like I went, yeah. So I feel like you do have to enjoy the journey, and I think that's something a lot of us do. We want something so bad, we're not enjoying the person that we are right now, and the person we're gonna become in the end. You know?
Exactly. Like Steve Harvey once said, he was like, if God places you in a place of like 1 year you make 20,000.
Oh yeah, I seen that video. Yeah.
Next year you probably, or 2 years later you got a new job. Now you're making 50,000. Then next thing you know, now you're making 80,000.
Right.
Like so it's a process.
Gradual process.
Right. It's a gradual process with each and every step that you take. So it's like you just got to be patient and, like Merle said, enjoy the journey.
Yeah, and then like Vincent was saying, it's like it's a process, because I feel like everybody doesn't believe in God. I don't want to get too religious, but I think everything happens for a reason. And if you're not where you want to be, you're most likely not ready for that, right? You hear so many people like I hear millionaires say this all the time, like if I would have had $1 million when I was 25 or 30, I would have blew it all,
Right.
because they didn't have the financial, like going through the stuff they went through to get that $1 million taught them the necessary financial lessons they need to hold on to that money to grow it. But if you give the average 25-year-old, 24-year-old who's never had anything $1 million, they're not going to appreciate that. But if you take somebody who's 30 or a little older or whatever, and they've had nothing, they've been through, and they work to get that $1 million, they save, they invested, they're going to appreciate it much more. You know what I mean? So you definitely have to enjoy the journey and enjoy life, and always like prioritize your goals, always prioritize improving, because you're never going to hurt yourself starting early. You're never going to hurt. The sooner you start, the better. The sooner you start taking your life seriously, looking at your life like a business and setting goals and crushing them, the better your life's going to be. It just gets better.
And Steve, like you said, man, like it'd be most millionaires saying, man, if I was 25, I probably would have blew it.
They would have blew it.
It all comes to discipline.
Absolutely.
Discipline, sacrifice, and being consistent. Like if you have those three, like I believe, like you're on the road to success.
I agree with that. Yeah, but those three, I do think discipline and that stuff, that all goes hand in hand for sure. Discipline is a big part, because we all wake up and there's some days. I've been saying he goes to the gym every single day.
That's discipline.
I'm sure there's some days he wakes up, he's tired from work, he had a bad day, he didn't sleep well, but he still goes. And that's like you said, that's what separates people that are successful from people who aren't successful. You look at the top performers in any field, it's the people that show up every single day.
Right.
They don't have any excuses,
Like Kobe. Man, everybody going to the club. Where he at?
Right, he locked in at the gym.
Yeah, 6 o'clock in the morning. Trainers already like, all right, I'm on my way. Kobe there.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that's how.
Yeah, those stories of Kobe is crazy.
Focus.
But yeah, that is true. Yeah, you're right. You have to adopt that mentality in any field you're in. No matter if you're a basketball player, a painter, anything. You just got to go the extra mile and enjoy it. And I feel like when you start loving your work and you start like liking what you do, it's easier for you to do that. I think it's Kobe was in love with the game of basketball. So going the extra mile for him was like second nature.
Right.
Like Bruce said, if he's, the documentary he's shooting, I'm sure going the extra mile to make that documentary excellent is easy for him because it has his name attached to it, and it's something he enjoys doing. Now, if you're working a job that you hate, obviously going the extra mile is not going to be that
that's the more
appealing.
realistic part of it too, because most people are
right. But you have to look at it like it's a sacrifice. You're investing in yourself.
Yeah.
And
I would probably say, being this fact you mentioned that if you are working a job that you hate, you should probably. This is just me. I don't know. This is me. I'm not trying. Right. I ain't trying to. Cause I don't want nobody watching this and be like, wait, I'm about to go quit my job tomorrow.
Right.
No, don't do that. Me, I would probably think of a side hustle.
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if you still at a job that you hate, as only thing that's obviously keeping you there is the money.
Exactly.
I was just like, if the money is the only thing that's keeping you there, think of a side hustle or
There's plenty
whatever.
of jobs.
There's plenty of
Plenty
jobs.
of jobs. During this pandemic, man.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of different ways to make money nowadays, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's very important to prioritize on self growth because I think we underestimate how fast life moves. Like I remember when we was 16, 17 in high school. Like, I remember when I first met Vince.
Right.
Like I remember when y'all two first met. Like that stuff was like close to 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like we gonna be 25. So it's like you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself.
Right. Now we're making a podcast. 17,
Exactly.
we were not thinking about
We
it.
wasn't thinking about making a podcast. That's how
podcast doing everything.
That's how life moves, and you're right, bro. That's how fast life moves, and that's why you have to prioritize your own improvement. Because things take you by surprise, like the pandemic happening, COVID, right? All the people, and I'm not trying to talk about anybody, but the people that didn't plan, didn't have any emergency funds, those people really suffered during that time, and you have to plan, you have to prepare, and you have to be smart. You don't have to be a weirdo. You can still have fun. You don't have to be a monk or nothing like that. But at the same time, you got to take your life seriously because it's your life. And I don't think people understand, how fast life moves. Soon you'll be 30 and 35. And it's like, what have you done? What do you have to your name?
It start with you. Like nobody else is going to just wake up and say like, hey, this is what you need to do. Like you gotta plan your own life out for real. You know your life better than anybody else.
Exactly.
As
much as it would be nice to have that.
Right.
You're like, okay, age you're gonna be doing this, age that you're gonna be doing this. Like, okay, bet.
Life
I already know
coach.
what to expect, but life don't work out.
No, you got to figure out your own life.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, you gotta plant your own seeds and sell your own shit, and you gotta just enjoy life, And I feel like once you start on the journey of self development, and it's different for everybody. Some people just go head first, and some people start small. But once you start seeing like the incremental growth, and
Like
as a person, you're gonna want to keep going. Like once you go to the gym and you start seeing those little gains that like keeps you going. Once you invest, you make like $1,000 or $500. You want to keep doing it. So like Bruce said, it's a domino effect, and I think the hardest part is always starting.
Yeah.
The hardest part because once you have momentum, it's super easy, and it doesn't take long to gain momentum. Once you do things, I don't know how long does it take to form a habit. I
2
forgot.
weeks. I think like 14 days, something like that.
No, as long as 14 days. It's like
20 days. But I don't know, Steve, man. I kind of like, and I don't agree with you on that, bro. Like, I think like the hardest part is being consistent because like you hear people say like, "Oh man, I started this. I've been doing this."
Okay,
but they don't be
no,
consistent.
I do agree. You are right.
You gotta think about New Year's. Like,
That's right. No, that is fact. That is true. I do take that back, bro. You probably are right. I do agree with that. I think the hardest part is, like you said, staying consistent, especially when things aren't going well.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to stay consistent when you see the results, but it's like when you don't see the results or when you're feeling down. That's like when you really see what the winners are.
Like you really look back and see if you really want it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you really
that's how you know.
because it's gonna be like a test. It's gonna test you to see if you really want it. So if it ain't working right now, or if this ain't popping, how fast. But if you know in your mind and you think that you can do it, then you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just gotta be consistent until it comes. Like it's not gonna be over a few days.
Anything you think about could happen. Like,
it
start up there.
It start up there, bro.
And you just put it into the world. So
exactly.
It's like
That's
That's
fact.
Yeah, and I think the consistency thing, that is a big thing. Because, it is hard to do the same thing every single day or close to every single day, even if you love it. It is because things pop up, things happen in your life. You have days where you don't feel good. You have days where you have a block, where you're burnt out, where you're drained.
Exactly.
But like I said, I think the successful people are the people. And you're not going to be perfect all the time. Like everybody has days. Nobody is perfect all the time. David, guys, I don't care who they is. Everybody has days off. I think the people that win are the people that 90% of the time are doing it right. You know what I mean? Nobody's doing it right 100% of the time, bro.
Yeah.
But it's like a compound effect. If we're all doing it 90% of the time, and the average person is only doing it 40 or 50, we're gonna win because it's a higher average. But yeah, I think discipline is extremely important. You have to adopt that in your life. You won't get anywhere without discipline. You won't I feel like discipline teaches you how to control yourself. It teaches you how to master yourself.
Like holding yourself accountable.
Right. You know what I mean? And I feel like if you're not disciplined, you're not really in control of your life. You may think you are because you think you're making, I feel like people look at discipline like it's a restriction.
Yeah.
Like I have to go to bed early.
Right.
I can't drink. I can't smoke.
Right.
I can't eat junk food. Like you're looking at it like it's a restriction, but it's teaching you how to keep yourself under control.
Yeah.
Because if we just lived off our every single instinct, we'd be like animals or something.
Yeah.
We are animals. We'd be like,
No, I see what you're saying.
yeah, you know what I mean? We
There's a lot
wouldn't
of
act
people
a
that
lot of
live
intelligence.
like that, though.
Right.
They just doing what they want to do every day, whether it's doing something good.
Exactly,
or
whether it's
like,
exactly. And you're a product of your daily choices. You really are. We're a product of our daily choices and habits. That stuff adds up. And you can see that reflected on people. You could have a conversation with a person and you could just tell what they do.
Right.
You could just see the type of energy they carry.
Yeah.
And it's not good to judge people, but just by the words they use, the way they carry themselves, what they wear, you can get a feel of who they are. And all that is affected by their habits and their daily choices. So yeah, I think it's important to prioritize your own self-development, prioritize your own growth. If you want to be successful, like Romero said, you can do anything you put your mind to. As Bruce was saying, it all starts up here. But you got to take a hold of it, and you got to keep going through the good and the bad. And you got to understand
that shit.
life is seasons. Like the Bible says, you know what I mean?
For real.
You're going to have seasons where you're winning, life is going good, and then you're going to have seasons where it's like you just can't catch a break. So all that stuff is making you and molding you into a better person. You just got to
through.
And it's a Bible quote I go off of every day too. This I live by this. I live by this quote. I live by this quote. It's I can't pronounce it, man. I ain't gonna lie. I love the Bible, but it be like weird names. It's like, man, what the fuck? But at least Ecclesiastes.
Okay.
4:19, man.
Okay.
It was talking about a living dog is better than a dead lion. Like just think on
That's
that.
interesting.
That's a
living dog is better than a dead lion.
What the lion doing? The lion done.
And just think, because we already know a lion. Like when you think of a lion, you think about the king of the jungle, powerful, but he's dead compared to a dog
who's a much lower.
man. It's like, yeah.
But he's a lot. No, that's a good point.
So
that is true.
So pretty much what I mean by that, or my intake on that is, we all got a day every day.
Yeah.
We wake up every day. It's another day to start something new, or if not start something new, be consistent, be disciplined. If you fail this day, well, you got tomorrow to do it again.
Fresh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So just don't give up. Just always remember you got another day to keep going.
100%.
Yeah, eventually, but that's facts, man. Like you said, life goes on.
Yeah.
And like people, just because you have a bad day doesn't mean you have a bad life. And I don't know what anybody's going through out there. But like Vince said, bad things happen, good things happen. You got to keep going. You got to know you're going to be okay. You just got to have that inner belief that you're going to be okay. And I feel like if you follow that stuff, you will find some type of success. Is there any closing remarks? We're going to wrap up soon. Any closing remarks you guys got to drop?
Stay consistent.
Yeah. Oh, shout out Keon. He couldn't make it.
Yeah, shout out Keon.
Keep the boy working.
Shout out Keon. Bro.
Being that person we talking about.
Yeah.
Anything else, Merle?
That's it, man.
Yeah, man. So, it's always a pleasure talking to y'all, man. Stay tuned for the next episode. This is episode 5. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we out. Peace.
I think that was a good
I think that
one.
was a good one, bro.
Yeah, we all
That
flowed.
flowed. Yeah, bro, that was perfect.
Oh, but that was a good
Good shit,
episode.
Bruce.
100%.
That was smooth.
No, that was smooth. I like it.
So we want to just